House Republicans have tapped members who will lead an investigation into how the government handled the coronavirus pandemic, including conservative firebrand and conspiracy theorist Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. The lawmakers will also finally get answers to the COVID origins and the federal government's research that contributed to the pandemic, according to McCarthy, the current speaker. So Greene, here's what's interesting. Greene, who emerged as an ally for McCarthy during the speakership fight, but still holds a megaphone with the party's right flank, is among the Republicans getting a seat on the subcommittee. It is the latest high-profile boost for Greene, who was stripped of her committee assignments by Democrats and about a dozen Republicans due to her ridiculous rhetoric. But Republican leadership pledged to reinstate her to committees if they won the majority. Remember when I said they were not negotiating for you? They were not holding up the election of McCarthy for Republican voters. They were doing it for themselves, for their own power, position, status. And here it is. McCarthy has handed her other plum positions, including a seat on the Oversight Committee and Homeland Security Committee. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now in receipt, ladies and gentlemen, of actual highly classified information. There's more. Representative James Comer, Republican out of Kentucky, who is leading the Oversight Committee, which will house the Select Subcommittee, also has pledged to conduct investigations into the coronavirus and pandemic era aid dispersed as part of several COVID-19 relief bills that total trillions of dollars. What's going on here? Now, obviously, these are witch hunts. These are political dynamics and not substantive within government. But there's a strategy. And damn it, I wish Democrats would figure this part out. What Republicans are doing, and listen, I'm just talking strategy. We can talk about the ethics of it on the other side. The strategy for Republicans is to always have an ongoing adversary. To always have an ongoing adversary. As long as they can create an enemy, they typically are able to utilize the created enemy, the manufactured opposition, run campaigns against this manufactured opposition, win an election and not deliver a damn thing policy-wise to the individuals who voted for them. Now remember, they have done this routinely. If it's undocumented immigrants in caravans, or perhaps gangsters who are just going through communities, committing all kind of chaos, the list goes on and on. Every single election cycle and non-election cycle, Republicans affix an enemy even if they have to create one. And they will create this manufactured enemy, and they will tell the American public that this is your actual enemy. Yeah, the media is your enemy. Yes, activists are your enemy. Black Lives Matter, that's your enemy. They have done this routinely. You see, we actually have real enemies, real oppressors. If you are even left-leaning, you don't have to be a progressive. Even if you're left-leaning, you should know already, typically banks are not for you. You should already know there are various systems inside of the criminal justice dynamic that are not for you. But do we strategize around these dynamics? No. We say we will change them. We beg for power. Democrats will say, vote for me, I'll set you free. And as soon as you give them that endorsement, they obtain the power, and then they explain 4 years why they do not have the power to change the thing they said you gave them the power to change. Now, watch how a Republican lawmaker responds to absolute truth, and the hypocrisy goes unchecked. Here it is.
To determine if there are classified materials there. But additionally, I believe the FBI needs to search the residences of Hunter Biden and any business offices of Hunter Biden to determine if there are classified materials there. Because if these classified materials in particular implicate Burisma, Ukraine, Communist China, payments going to Hunter Biden or Joe Biden's brother or the Biden family, then this shifts from a political problem to a very serious problem of criminal liability and major crimes. And so the FBI needs to search the University of Delaware archives, and they need to search Hunter Biden's home and business address.
You hear this? Senator Ted Cruz would like the DOJ to search a private citizen named Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, who the right was really fascinated by because he smoked crack at some point in his life. Hunter Biden is a private citizen nonetheless. Now, if you engage in this kind of witch hunt to possibly, perhaps, find information that may possibly, perhaps, connect to this element or that element, or maybe it connects back to the president himself, well, what are they doing here? They are following the play that Donald Trump tried to implement. He was just too sloppy. Donald Trump literally contacted the head of state of another country, wanted that head of state to investigate Hunter Biden, a private citizen, for the sake of destroying his political opponent, a former vice president of the United States. It is the same methodology, but a different variation. So as soon as Ted Cruz made that proclamation about searching the archives of the University of Delaware and everything else, as soon as he did this, the commentator says, well, listen, what about former Vice President Mike Pence, who was also found to have classified documents? Here's the answer.
Just as an addendum to this, the news came out today, I'm sure you saw it, that former Vice President Mike Pence, a friend of both of ours, he's found some classified documents, I think at his home in Indiana, not in his office. What do you make of that? Is this different from the Biden story? Does this complicate the story? Are we going to continue the bull market in special counsels? I'd rather have a bull market in stocks than in special counsels. How do you see it, Senator Cruz?
Oh, look, the Mike Pence story, it's still early. Mike Pence, and as you noted, he is a good friend. He's a good man. He's explained where these came from. What his office has put out is that in packing up the vice presidential offices, that there were a couple of papers that were classified that were inadvertently put with non-classified materials. That was a mistake, but there's no reason to think it was anything but inadvertent. That is very different from what Joe Biden has done. Joe Biden has given zero explanation as to how these classified documents got there. And in particular, he has given no explanation as to how he has documents from his time in the Senate. Listen, I've served in the Senate for 10 years. I have read a lot of classified documents.
Damn. He went from prosecutor to defense attorney in 0.2 seconds flat. Right? This is the game they play. They're getting away with it until, hopefully, somebody checks them. All right, Ms. Dahl, thoughts here?
Yes, so many thoughts. I think you're absolutely right about the Republicans finding a boogeyman. And I think Hunter Biden is the new Hillary Clinton. They just love bashing on Hunter Biden. And it's interesting because he probably was never given the authority to even review classified documents. He was not an employee of the government. So it's like really far-fetched that he would even have it. It would make more sense to think Jared Kushner or Ivanka Trump would have documents because they actually had, the status to be able to review those kind of documents. And at the end of the day here, I think that the American public in in the midterms didn't want to elect the really incendiary super right wing. I mean, they lost a lot of their elections, or were very close to losing Lauren Boebert's case in Colorado. And so when McCarthy appoints Marjorie Taylor Greene to these committees, and we're going to hear kind of really, again, like really rhetoric that is going to be really crazy. I don't know how else to say it. And I think that's going to turn off ultimately a lot of people. People have a lot going on in their own lives. They just want government to function. Sure, some people might enjoy the Hunter Biden bashing, but I think they might take it too far and actually like turn people off.
We shall see. I do believe they will take it too far, and I do believe they will turn some people off, but they will also turn some people on. Individuals inside of the political establishment known as the right are looking for red meat, especially those who are racist. And it seems as if more and more are coming out every day. We will continue to give you the update as it develops.